And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
And we're back. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley. If you're looking to refinance your home, this show is brought to you by Castle & Cook Mortgage. Give Sean Loveland a call at 208-447-7205, and he will get you helped out. Interest rates are a little bit high right now, and we are looking to lower your interest rate. It's a good place to go. He will help you out. He has a couple of things to help with your appraisal, give you a little bit of a discount, and get you going. All right. Well, it is February 20th. We're almost through February. How fast does time go as you get older? You know, I turned 43 this year. Last year, this year, I'll turn 44. But we've been doing the show for 4 years. It's funny. I just was checking it out, and I was looking on TikTok. You know, it pumps up this day, and it was this day in 2020, and it showed that I was thanking people for 300 followers. Kind of blew that out of the water in the last 4 years. Not as fast as some people, and it's interesting to see how some of these people get a lot of followers. It basically takes one big viral video, really, and you get a whole bunch of people following you. And the thing is they don't always interact with you. And I was watching a friend on TikTok who were mutual friends, and mutual friends on TikTok is a little bit different. Lots of buffering, which is annoying. Well, let's see what we can do here. We'll see if that helps. If not, we'll keep on moving. Anyway, yeah, so I was watching her, she's talking about mutual friends. She's like, I've gotten 10,909, or like you can follow 10,000 people on TikTok that follow you back. So when you follow 10,000, that's it. She's like, I'm going to have to start dumping some of these people who don't follow back. Which I was thinking about that. Like I have 23.5K followers, and I don't follow everyone back. And the reason I don't is because they don't really I follow people who, you know, I have something in common with, or move me or help me in the same way. And sometimes people don't have content, and it's not that I don't like them or anything like that. It's just that I just don't want to follow someone who doesn't respond or doesn't do anything back, right? Or sometimes they don't have picture or videos, and that's fine. That's them, or they don't comment or whatever. So anyway, it's just kind of funny to watch that and see how people decide to do that. But the great thing about it is someone was saying, well, I don't have any content, so I guess I'm not following you back. And I'm just like, the great thing is in our lives, we have choices, right? We have the choice to be able to follow whoever we want and not follow whoever we want. So that's the big thing. Thank you, Nikki, for watching the feed so that I know that what's going on. Sometimes the sound isn't loud. Sometimes there's a couple different things, and I'm messing with it a little bit, but the Wi-Fi was on, and it wasn't in the hardwire connection, which is sometimes good and not good. What's up, Red Casper over on TikTok? So I was thinking about it. How many of you guys have seen, I wore it yesterday. I don't have it on today. My shirt that says Move Forward on it. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, because there's a lot of things that I go through where I remind myself over and over again that I need to just keep moving forward. I need to keep going. I need to keep pushing. I need to keep doing what I'm doing in order to be successful in what I'm trying to do. And a lot of times we get lost in that. We don't know how to move forward. We get stuck, right? We think that the world is against us. Woe is me. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on that we can't right the ship. And it's bullshit. You can right the ship pretty easily, typically, if you can get out of your head. And I think that that's what you have to remember, is that no matter what your goal is, you have to be willing to move forward. A lot of times we'll get stuck in the past. If this happened to me back then, I can't do this because of that. I can't do this because of that. And we have all these reasons why we can't do it. And we can figure out many things that will stop us, right? I was talking about, I think we ended yesterday talking about how negative comments will freeze you, will stop you, will tell you to stop, right? And how I made this post, and I had, it had over 100,000 views on it, and people were just talking really bad about me, hurting, just trying to hurt me, trying to tear me down. whatever. And anyway, well, as they were doing that, it started to freeze me and I stopped making videos because it's like, well, I'm just an idiot. I don't need to do this, whatever. But if you go back and you look at the average of what that happens to be, and a guest of mine, Dave Conry, on my podcast at one point, he was on TikTok for a while, and he was talking a lot about how hater math is what we call it. He's like, this is how hater math works, right? So you take that post, right? And you go and you look through there and there's 100 positive comments and there's like 10 negative ones, right? Which one do you think weighs more? Like if you were to put it on a scale, which one weighs more? Which one is going to bother you more? Which one is going to lift you up and which one's going to tear you down? Which one do you put more weight on? And a lot of times in life, we will put more weight on the negative shit than we do the positive stuff. And that's the problem. We get 100 really nice comments, someone talking you up, building you up, making you feel better. You get 10 people who talk shit. There's a way more positive than there is negative, but we sit there and we dwell on that negative shit. And that's what we need to do is we need to stop doing that. And we need to look at the fact that even though there was 10, there was 100 positive. And so that will stop us from moving forward. And you have to remember, it's how you feel. It's a you problem. It's not a me problem. Or I'm sorry, it's a me problem, not a you problem. It's like, whose problem is this? Is it the person who said that, or is it the person who is taking it? Are you the person who is letting that bother you? Or are you the person who's like moving along and keeping to move forward? So that's the tough part, right? Trying to remember that we can do that. If you're just joining us on TikTok, this is Morning Coffee. I do this every morning. It's live on YouTube. You can go to the link in the bio, follow me on YouTube. And I'm getting to the point where I'm talking about on here, like I'm thinking about allowing people to kind of hop on, but we have to get that figured out first. Because you can go in on Ecamm. I can give you a code. You can hop on and you can be part of the show if you want. But we'll see how that goes. It's kind of like call it in. Anyway, so we're going to talk about some quotes here. I got some quotes pulled up about moving forward. Things and tools and tips and stuff like that that can help you to move forward. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. This one's by Henry Ford. If you guys don't know who he is, you might drive one of his vehicles. He's gone now, but he is the person who invented the Ford Motor Company. And if everyone is moving forward together, then success can takes care of itself. Moving forward means to just keep going, right? And we talked about surrounding yourself with people with like-mindedness, people who want to move forward, people who want to be successful. Take a look at the people in your peer group, the people that you are hanging out with, the people who you spend the most time with. Are they building you up or are they tearing you down? Because if they're tearing you down and you're trying to move forward, that's going to stop you from having that forward progress, right? So you got to think about that. You have to think about how those people affect you. And it doesn't mean that you can't hang out with them anymore. But what it does mean is if you're on this path to moving forward, you're going to need them to either help you or you're going to have to let them go. And it's tough. A lot of times these people who don't want to see you succeed are really close friends, family, people who you have a really good relationship with, but they're going to tell you to stop, right? They're going to say, no, don't do that. Or they're going to say, that's stupid. Or what if you fail? What if you don't make it work? You need to find people who are in your corner. One of my very best friends, Jay, and we don't always agree on everything. And this is the one thing that's funny, is he's the devil's advocate for me, because I'll say, hey, how about this? And then he and I will talk through it. And he goes, well, there's this. And like you're going back and forth and maybe that's not the best idea, but what if you do this? You know, and that's the thing. Like, what can you do? And being able to listen to that constructive criticism from your peers, if it's constructive, you know, they're trying to make you better, not trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. Okay. One of the things about that, though, is there is going to be failure, right? And a lot of times we're like, failure will be the freezing moment. It will stop you. It's something that won't allow you to continue to move forward because you fail and you're like, all right, now I don't know what to do. It says, don't dwell on what went wrong. Instead, focus on what to do next. Spend your energies on moving forward towards finding the answer. So just because there's a failure doesn't mean stop. You have to look at it as, what did I do? What can I do differently? You think about science class when you're a kid. Like, what's the hypothesis? Do you think that every scientist who set out to do something figured it out on the first experiment? Like it just went right the first time? Probably not. That's why they have a hypothesis. The hypothesis is that I think if I do this, this will happen. And they try it and it doesn't happen. All right, well, what if I change this variable? So what if I change this thing that I did? Will it give me the outcome that I want? And that's a really cool thing if you think about it, because everything that has ever happened in this world didn't happen on the first try. Someone had to fail somewhere, sometime to make that happen. And then they just kept trying. They kept attempting it in a different way because they knew what they wanted to do. They knew that it was possible, but they had to figure out how to make it work. The one thing about dealing, like dredging on the past too, right? So I've been like, it's funny because I sit there and I look at it like there's a lot of things in my past that I'm not proud of or I'm ashamed of, right? Not big things, not like super, like I didn't go to prison and I didn't do, I didn't get a DUI, I didn't do all these things. Like, could happen. Those things could happen to anyone, but there's not a lot of bad things that happen. I mean, I think about like some of the relationships I had. I think about some of the decisions I made with schooling, some of the those decisions. And I could have sat there and said, hey, these things that had happened, I got an F on a math test. I should just quit, right? Nope. I went back and I was reading through. It's funny because Facebook sends you the little reminders and now you're getting them on TikTok and you're getting them everywhere else. But it was like, I'm retaking my math test because I failed the first one. Hopefully I don't make any stupid mistakes, because if you make one little mistake doing math, you could be completely wrong on the whole equation. So you have to go back and do it again. Obviously I passed the test because I have degrees, right? Like I had to pass those tests in order to get to where I'm going. So you have the choice, right? But if I would have sat there and said, I failed it this time, I can't pass this test, there's no way, then I never would have gotten the degree that I wanted to get. And it's funny because I think about that, like talking about dwelling on the past. If I think about what I'm doing, I have 2 degrees in education. I'm not teaching anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm in a better place than I was when I was teaching. But if I stuck it out and I stayed there, I would have been stuck in the same path, the repetitive thing over and over again. And I can't do that. This is a good one. You are always a student, never a master. You have to keep moving forward. I think one of the things that happen with us is we realize that people who are successful are always being a student. They're never just the master. They're not, even when you're the best, even when you get to that end of that line, when you set that goal and you're trying to move forward and you get there, you're not thinking, all right, that's it. I'm here. I'm not doing anything else. You're thinking about, what can I do next? What is going to be the next step in this process? I set this goal. I achieved it. What's the next goal? How am I going to get better at that? You're being a student over and over again. Even the best master is a student. Anderson Silva. I've watched this guy fight an MMA fight once, and I've also seen the time when he busted his leg. Life is about how much time you can take, how much you can take and keep fighting, how much you can suffer and keep moving forward. And if you think about that, if you're in the middle of a fight, this guy kind of is the epitome of that. Went out, kicked some guy, broke his leg. You could see the bow in the leg, one of those disgusting looking leg breaks, right? So he took the pain and suffering, and then he came back. He came back and fought again. He had 2 choices. End it, be done, or go out there and do it again. He took the pain. He kept fighting. He suffered through what it took to make that happen, and then just kept going. We're going to do one more and then we're going to roll out. But we're talking about moving forward. What does it take to move forward over and over again? What can you do? How can you push yourself to be better? Let's see here. This is something that if you think about like this, so here's how my mind works, right? Like I sit there and I look at things and I read through them and then I decide how they relate to me and what I am doing, right? Like how can you move forward, right? Movies. How many of you watch movies? How many of you think about like the things that's going on, Lindsay, over on TikTok? Hope you are doing well. The movies, all right? This is a real simple one, all right? So this is from George Lucas. You guys know who George Lucas is? It says the technology keeps moving forward, which makes it easier for artists to tell their stories and paint the pictures they want. Yesterday, we talked about everyone has a podcast, right? Like everyone can do it. A lot of people will say, well, I can't do it. I don't have the tools. I can't make it happen. It's not what I just can't do it. I don't understand that. With technology, it makes it way easier to do things in this world, right? How many of you did that do-it-yourself project when you're like, I'm going to build a table, I'm going to build a chair, I'm going to build a studio, and you go through and what can you do? It's at the tips of your fingers, right? Boom, get on your little mega computer that you carry around with you in your pocket every day, watch a YouTube video, and you can figure it out. Those things, when I was growing up, those were not there. You had to do it. You had to figure it out. You either had to know someone who had the knowledge or you had to just do it by trial and error and figure out if you're going to make it happen, right? But it makes it easier to move forward. The tools are in your hand. So today we're going to end it with this. If there's something that you don't know how to do, there's something that you want to do, something that you can't think you could do, get on that little computer that you carry around in your pocket, go to YouTube or go to Google, hit it in the search bar and type it in there and go watch a video on how to do it. And the choices that you have are there. Now, what's your excuse? Why aren't you doing it? So let's stop making those excuses today. Let's get out there and let's try and keep moving forward. I want to say thank you to my Patreon supporters, Nikki and Anna. If you want to join Patreon, you can go to www.patreon.com/shapingsuccess. You can also subscribe on TikTok. Thank you to my TikTok subscribers. I got Nikki Pavlovich, Frank Hogue, Michelle. Thank you very much for subscribing. If you want to subscribe, come check it out. These come on every single day. Getting ready for my Patreons to send out some stuff to them. Lots of fun stuff over there helping the show go. Yesterday, I told you I've got everything I need to keep this going, and I want to not spend any more money on it. And I'm not going to, but I do need to make an income. So what we're trying to do is try and figure out a way to get some more clothing out there to always make this happen. For as little as $5 a month, you can support it on the Patreon. It's $3 on TikTok. All your donations help me to keep this going. Until next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success and keep moving forward.